Dear friends, I just counted how many times I've gone through a reinvention. It's about 11, although there's more. But basically, I've gone from failing troublemaker to a straight A student with a scholarship. I went from a poli-sci degree to an information technology degree. I went from a rapper to a DJ, from a music producer as an employee to a music producer that is self-employed. I went from a music producer that is self-employed in North America to a music producer who is employed for somebody else in Europe. And then again, did the transition from being employed for somebody in an industry that I love to actually starting my own company. And then eventually actually teaching other creative people how to make a living doing what they love. So I know a little bit about what it takes to create a reinvention, and I believe it's absolutely necessary for you to reinvent if you want to experience any measure of self-fulfillment, of happiness, and control over your life and work. Now, here's the first lesson I want to teach you. There are two kinds of reinventions, and you always want to pick the first one. The first one is because you want to, and the second one is because you have to. The first kind of reinvention is a self-initiated one, driven by your inner desire to evolve. The second is a reaction to external circumstances which force you to reinvent, sometimes suddenly and without warning. Now, the more you practice the first kind because you want to, the less likely you will be a victim of the second kind of reinvention. And a story out of my own journey illustrates this. I used to look up to this DJ in Toronto. He was playing at the best venues, his DJ name written with big font on all the flyers posted all over the city. And at his height on any given night, he had thousands of humans absolutely losing their minds on the dance floor, and he was in complete control of the crowd, and I was in awe. And even as I had a taste of the same thrill as a DJ who ended up becoming a resident at some of the biggest nightclubs in Toronto, I always had this small voice deep down saying, are you sure you want to put all your eggs in this DJ basket? I mean, this is not forever. You gotta start planting seeds for the next chapter. You want to do it now. You want to think about what else can you do with your musical talent to future-proof your career for decades. So I began to learn music production, reaching out to people in the industry, and this proactive reinvention, taking those steps already when I was at the height of my DJ career, it set me up for an eventual path into a long-term career in music. And what happened to the DJ that I used to admire? I will never forget, guys, when I became a full-time music producer in the world of music and brands. I was at the Apple store buying a MacBook, and guess who was helping me with my purchase? The DJ that I once idolized. Now the roles were reversed. Now he was asking me about information about my industry, about the world of music and brands. The moral of the story, folks, is whenever you're at the height of your career, it's already time to start thinking about the next chapter, because the next chapter is coming. Whether you like it or not, you can either start the reinvention now, start thinking ahead of time what you're gonna do as the next chapter, or reality will eventually force you, sometimes suddenly and without warning, to make this reinvention happen. I have produced 1,000 campaigns for the world's biggest brands on 3 different continents, and I realized that my experience, my ability to communicate, to mentor, to teach would bring way more value into the world than me producing another Nike commercial. So again, I thought about a reinvention. I decided to teach everything I know to musicians around the world. I started an online masterclass, which now has close to 900 students, many of whom have been able to reinvent themselves as a result of our academy. And if you haven't seen the story of Matteo, we're gonna link it somewhere up here. It's a must watch so you can see what a reinvention looks like. You wouldn't be watching this had I not continually, throughout my journey, asked myself, what is next? So dear friends, here's a little practical exercise. I want you to grab a blank sheet of paper. I want you to list out all the areas in your life that are important to you. It could be faith, it could be finances, family, fruit, folks, fun. I want you to take a mental scan in each area. How does it feel right now? Are you actively growing, or are you comfortable? I want you to look forward to the horizon. I want you to scan it, and I want you for each of these areas to see if you like where you're gonna end up if you keep going the way you're going. And if you like where you're going to end up as you scan that horizon, great, keep going. But if you don't, you gotta ask yourself, what's next. Because a reinvention is coming, folks, whether you like it or not. And the only question is, are you going to take a proactive approach right now? As an alert, as a conscious, proactive, creative craftsperson, or are you going to let external circumstances dictate what's going to happen to your career? I certainly wish for you the number one kind of reinvention, which is because you want to, because you will take the proactive approach. Folks, if you want more inspiration, more information on how to perform a reinvention in your life and work, I think you should watch this video right here.